Is the Wendy Williams Experience podcast happening or not? Well, you may have seen the story where they were saying that the Wendy Williams podcast was not happening. It had been canceled. And you may have also seen us cover and talk about that Wendy Williams says that she's retiring or coming out of retirement. There's a lot of things that are unsure when it comes to Wendy Williams and the future of her being back in entertainment. We have to talk about this because according to Wendy Williams' rep, she has a lot of projects down the pipeline, including the podcast. Welcome back to the Kempire channel, your number one source for pop culture news and music, entertainment, reality TV, and so much more. As always, be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you never miss out on breaking news when we go live or when we upload. So a lot of you always are asking me an update on Wendy Williams. Kempire, have you heard anything? Are we going to get this podcast? They have been working on this Wendy Williams Experience podcast for a while now. We've been talking about this for a while now. The last report that we gave you was that Wendy Williams had cameramen, audio people, her team at Fresco by Scotto, and they were filming. So there were rumors that she was filming some sort of reality show. But we've been waiting on a Wendy Williams podcast for a very long time. And supposedly she was going to do this visual version of her podcast from her home. And a lot of you were like, Wendy doesn't like people in her house. So I just don't see that happening. But months and months later, we still have not gotten the podcast. But in all fairness, Wendy Williams has been dealing with a lot. She went to a wellness facility almost a year ago. And recently we saw that she was out and about celebrating St. Patrick's Day, drinking, even though there are rumors and reports that she has a substance abuse problem, allegedly. This video is sponsored by AG1 by Athletic Greens. So if you've been following the channel, I've told you in 2023, my focus has been on my nutrition and my health overall. There's so many stories that we cover in entertainment news, especially with people with fame and celebrity. Even with all the money in the world or all the fame in the world, if you do not have your health, then you have nothing. So I've been trying out AG1, this nutritional drink, for the last couple of weeks. And so far, I've really noticed a boost in my energy, a boost in my mental focus. And as you know, with everything that we're handling, the amount of different stories that we are covering, focus is important. And energy is even more important when we have a 2-hour live. I get hungry. Well, this gives me the energy to pull through until I'm able to have my next meal. And by the way, when you tap the link in the description or in the comment section, you will get a year's supply of immune supporting vitamin D3K2 and 5 travel packs free with your first purchase. And as you know, I love to travel. So for me, the fact that we have this option of a travel pack was perfection. But I know what you're thinking. Kempire, what does it taste like? Well, that was the most surprising thing to me. I was like, I don't know. And there's like this pineapple with a hint of vanilla flavoring to it. I wasn't sure. I had to ask them, like, what is in this? Because it actually has a good flavor. Is it my favorite flavor? I'm gonna be honest with you. It's not my favorite flavor, but it wasn't what I thought it was going to be. And I could definitely... Okay, look. So some of the important things that I was looking for in using AG1 was really for energy. As you know, I've been getting more involved in Pilates, making sure I'm eating the right things. And with a lot of colds going around, I needed something that was going to support my immune health as well. Look, ain't nobody going to be taking care of me if I get sick. And a lot of you are going to be missing my content if I get sick. So I'm making sure that you guys are going to get your content because I'm taking care of my health. And one of the ways that I take care of my health is with this nutritional drink, AG1 by Athletic Greens. When you tap the link in the description of this video, you will get access to a 1-year supply of their immune supporting vitamin D3K2 and 5 travel packs free with your first purchase. You can't put a price tag on your health. I keep telling you guys that. Thank you to AG1 by Athletic Greens for supporting the channel and supporting our health, and hopefully it will be supporting your health as well. The US Sun was reporting that her podcast had been canceled. Well, they're saying that that's not true. So Page 6 writes this. The Wendy Williams podcast has not been canceled before its launch, contrary to a report claiming otherwise. Page 6 can confirm. According to Wendy Williams rep Sean Zanotti, they said we are still working behind the scenes on several projects. There has been no official cancellation of the podcast. The U.S. Sun reported just last week that the former daytime talk show host's podcast was dead in the water and that its promotional website had been shut down. However, if you go to the Wendy Williams Experience or the wendyexperience.com, it is actually up and running. So I wonder if they forgot to pay something and then it went down.
Hold on, guys. I have to get in front. Hold on. Excuse me.
I mean, it happens. It happens to the best of us. Just saying. However, the Wendy Williams website is up and running right now and even selling merchandise. But Sean Zanotti, Wendy Williams' rep, is not done in spinning this narrative, okay? And I'll share my thoughts at the end of this. So they said, as for possible television comeback, Zanotti says that Wendy does desire to return to TV. As you know, Wendy was recently spotted at the Townhouse here in New York City, a gay bar. It was reported that she was drinking alcohol at the gay bar, and she even at one point allegedly told the friend that she randomly saw out that she wanted to get drunk. But according to her rep, she tells Entertainment Tonight that she was, quote, out celebrating the new things in her life, including several upcoming new projects. I can't tell you guys how the spin of this is just so obvious. They must forget that at this point, this is not the 1990s. This is not the early 2000s. The public is not swayed by these PR campaigns of trying to spin this story, especially when you have Wendy Williams out and about in public, giving you something different. Sean Zanotti continues. She says she is happy and wanted to celebrate as she has a new lease on life. There are several projects coming down the pipeline, and she was celebrating those things. Zanotti continues and says, Wendy loves her fans and fully supports the LGBTQ plus community, which she does, which is a big part of her fan base, which is why she chose the places she did to celebrate. The spin of this story. And although look, we've been speculating, is this a plot that Todd set up so that she could bamboozle Kelvin out of the divorce settlement?
Hell no.
And a lot of you are like, damn, she's playing chess when everyone else is playing checkers. Look, we don't know. We don't know. But here's my thought on the whole podcast situation. We've said this before. We would love a podcast from Wendy Williams. But let me tell you something, as someone that has a podcast, Kempire Radio, shameless plug, you can set up a podcast today, even a video version, and put it out tomorrow. No, you could put it out today and have a podcast. She's been working on this podcast for a very long time. And if you know Wendy Williams in her heyday, and when I say her heyday, I'm talking about a couple of years ago, she doesn't need guests. You know how some people need guests in order for them to be entertaining? Wendy Williams does not. Wendy Williams could launch a podcast right now and put out an episode, and you guys would be like, Wendy is back. And I would love that. And all it would take, because I know her team and her people are probably trying to negotiate sponsors. They're trying to negotiate to try and do this on a big level. But you know what will get people more interested? Because right now, because of what's played out in the last couple of years with her daytime talk show, she doesn't seem like a person people want to invest in because she was unreliable, according to the executives at the Wendy Williams show. So they don't want to invest in her if she can't show consistency. And the way you show consistency is by putting out this podcast on your own. And we would have had months and months of content. And then people would have been like, oh, so she's okay. So let's put some money behind this. So I believe there is a spin that's happening with her team, because a podcast doesn't take this long to launch. It doesn't. Like I said before, you could record something today, both video and audio, and put it out tomorrow. Today even. But if you want a little extra quality, tomorrow. Or this week. It's taken way too long for this podcast not to have been out there in some shape or form. If we were talking about her developing a reality show or developing a new daytime talk show or developing or getting back into radio, then I could understand. It takes time for those things. But a podcast? Not so much. Not so much. And as I said to you guys before, I believe that Wendy Williams, based on what we've seen publicly, is ready to return to us in podcast form, in reality TV form? No. But has Wendy Williams has built a life enough for herself that she doesn't have to work again, even though I know she wants to? Yes, she could retire right now. And we've said this about other people, and I'm going to say it again about Wendy as well. If Wendy's not in the right space, mentally, physically, whatever it may be, I don't need her to force herself to come back for our entertainment. I love her. I miss her. We were just talking about her on Twitter. She would have been a fantastic host for the SWV and Escape, the Queens of R&B reunion show. It's not happening. But if it was to happen, Wendy would be a fantastic host. She'd be a fantastic host to replace Andy for RHOP and RHOA. Fantastic. But right now, I don't believe she's in that space. She's also still fighting for her money at Wells Fargo. She has a financial guardian in place. So she's just not in the space right now to do those things. And is this a big plot for something else? I don't know. But what I do know, if you're waiting on a Wendy Williams podcast, don't hold your breath. Guys, I want to know your reaction to this. I know you want the podcast, but I want to know your reaction to this. Are you disappointed? Do you think that we might get this podcast in the next year? Do you even think that we're going to get a reality show from her? Just because people are paying for a production doesn't mean that it's going to make it to television. However, very much like a podcast, Wendy, the Wendy team, I know you're watching. Hey, you could put it on YouTube. YouTube is a huge platform. All these daytime talk shows are putting all their content on YouTube because it's a huge international platform. They see where the future is, even though YouTube's been around for a long time. Guys, let's continue this conversation in the comment section. As always, be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you never miss out on breaking news when we go live or when we upload. I'll see you guys at 12:30 p.m. Eastern for our Tuesday takeover. Thanks for watching.
You bring the lighter, I got the fuse.